Hi, welcome back, or welcome if you're new. This practice is designed for people who experience high blood pressure or hypertension. So yoga in general is very beneficial for high blood pressure because one of the benefits of it is to lower the blood pressure, to lower the heart rate and calm the nervous system. But the practices we're going to do in this practice are specifically good for lowering high blood pressure. So as always, listen to your own body. You know yourself what is best for you, and if you are worried or a little bit unsure, just check with your doctor first. Make sure that you're okay to practice this. But as I say, most of these practices are particularly good for people who are experiencing high blood pressure. So without further ado, we will get on the mat. So make sure you've got something comfortable on. You will need some props. So if you have a yoga bolster will be helpful. Don't worry if you don't have one though, just grab a load of pillows, cushions, anything you can get hold of that will act as a bit of padding. Also, yoga bricks or blocks would be useful if you have them for just that extra bit of padding, and a blanket or two, because you can always use the blanket on top of the blocks as a substitute for the bolster. So just grab whatever you can. Alternately, a chair can be useful, so preferably a chair not with solid legs, so that you can get your legs in and out so you can move about a bit more. But just grab all sorts of bits and pieces. You can always fast forward through this video and check what poses we're doing so you know what bits you need. But when you're ready, hop on the mat and we're going to start lying down. Great, so we are going to lie with some support underneath our knees. So the bolster is perfect for this, so you can just pop the bolster underneath the knees. If you don't have a bolster, just either rolled up towel, rolled up blankets, some yoga blocks with a blanket on top or a cushion on top is great. Just anything that feels good so that it can just settle underneath the knees. If you want some padding underneath the head, pop in some padding underneath the head, and just letting the body settle into the mat. Hands can be wherever is comfortable, so maybe resting on the center or down by the sides. And just closing the eyes gently and taking a moment to draw the awareness in. Just checking in, noticing how you're feeling within yourself. No judgments, no expectation, just awareness. And let that awareness come to settle on the breath. Just following that flow of breath in and out of the body. Before we change or alter it, just that awareness. Sometimes simply awareness of the breath is enough to start that process of lowering the heart rate. The next step we can take for this is to make sure we're breathing through the nose. So when we breathe through the nose, again we lower the heart rate and we draw ourselves into that parasympathetic state. So that state of resting, of safety, taking us away from the stress state of the sympathetic nervous system. When we breathe through the mouth, we tap into the sympathetic nervous system. the fight or flight part of the nervous system, the more anxious, and therefore the higher heart rate, the higher blood pressure. So that step of just trying as often as you can to breathe through the nose, again, will help to draw the heart rate down. And then the next step we'll take is to lengthen the exhale. So we're going to see if we can inhale for a count of 4. So you'll be inhaling 2, 3, 4, exhaling for 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So inhaling 2, 3, 4, exhaling 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhaling 2, 3, 4, exhaling 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And just continue like this. If that ratio doesn't work for you, then adjust as you need to. Just find the numbers that work best for you. Maybe you want to increase to an inhale of 6 and an exhale of 8. Maybe you want to decrease to an inhale of 3 and exhale of 4 or 5. Just adjust as you need to, but whichever way you adjust, see if you can make the exhale just a couple of counts longer than the inhale. So again, when our focus, when our awareness is on the exhale, it helps to draw us into that parasympathetic state, the resting state, bringing the body into calm. If you find counting doesn't work for you, or the ratio doesn't work for you at all, that's okay. Simply breathe in a natural pattern, but with the awareness more on the exhale. So I'll just take one more round like this. And then letting go of the counting. Let the breath settle back into a natural rhythm. And just moving gently, we're going to move whatever padding you have underneath the knees away. So you can roll it away with the feet. Try and move yourself just gently. Try and have your blocks somewhere close to hand. You can always use books here as well. Whatever you've got. We're going to have the feet on the mat, hip distance apart, ready for bridge pose. So, heels as close to the body as is comfortable. And then we're just going to push into the feet, lift the hips so that you can place a block underneath the hips. So have a little wriggle, find a comfortable space to pop that block, and then rest the hips onto the block. So we're coming into a supported bridge pose. Hands can rest on the center or they can rest down by the sides, whatever feels best. If that's feeling okay and you want to, you can add another block. So lifting the hips a little higher, pressing into the feet, and then settling the hips onto the block. So try and have the blocks nearer towards the tailbone. So they're not in the lower back, they're down towards the tailbone. So you're still tilting the pelvis back. So imagine the tailbone is going to go towards the knees. So you're trying to find that tuck. So you're engaging the glutes still a little, even though it's supported, we're still using those muscles. Try and have the feet nice and even, knees head in straight, so not rolling in or out. Again, hands wherever's comfortable. Again, although we're not counting the breath, try to keep more awareness on the exhale rather than the inhale. We'll just take one more breath here. Then nice and slowly press into the feet, remove one block, bring the hips back down onto the first block, or whatever padding you're using. You can always use your bolster here too if that's better. Just taking a breath here. And then again, push into the feet, lift the hips and remove the other block, bringing the hips back down onto the mat. Wonderful. So then moving gently, just draw the knees in towards you. Give the spine a little bit of a rock. And then we're going to rock onto one side. Put the hand down and bring yourself up to sitting. Lovely. So in sitting, we're just going to come into a little butterfly pose or cobbler pose if you prefer. So soles of the feet together, knees rolling out to the sides. We'll just take a moment, taking a couple of breaths here, holding onto the ankles, trying to sit up nice and tall. Again, try and have that focus on the exhale. Lovely. So we're going to keep the right leg tucked in. We're going to stretch the left leg away. So we're coming into a version of Janu Sirsasana. So try and bring that right foot to the inside of the left leg. You can use any padding you want to underneath that right knee. So if you find the knee is up high, pop a block underneath the knee so that it's supported. And then we're going to grab our bolster or whatever you're using as a makeshift bolster. Maybe grabbing your blanket as well to lie on top, cushions, pillows, whatever's best. And then we're just going to take a gentle forward fold, placing the head down onto the padding. So you can either have the forehead down, I might sound a bit muffled now, or you can have the head slightly to the side, letting the cheek rest down, or you can turn it to the other side, whatever feels best. Arms can either be down by the sides or they can rest on your padding. Just try and find a comfortable way to fold forward. So you hopefully will feel a gentle stretch into the back of that left leg. You should feel the right hip opening. There'll be a gentle round in the back. Trying to find that support as you fold forward. we'll take one more breath here. And then nice and slowly drawing yourself up. We're going to move on to the other side. So stretch the right foot away. Shift the padding over towards that right leg. Draw the left knee in. So left foot is on the inside of the right thigh. Great. So you're turning towards the right leg, turning towards your padding and folding forward. So again, either forehead down, turning to one side or the other side, whatever feels best. Just let the body settle over the padding. Great, we'll take one more breath. And then slowly drawing yourself up. Great, just moving the padding towards the center. Stretch out that left leg. And we're going to come into a forward fold. So, your choice. You can have the padding on the insides of the legs, so the feet are either sides of the leg, feet are either sides of the padding, or you can pop the padding on top of the legs. Just spin myself round. Great. So either padding on top of the legs or legs either side of the padding. You can always use a chair here as well. So as I mentioned before, a chair can be helpful. So if you pop the chair over your legs and then fold forward onto the chair with a cushion on top of the chair, that can feel good too. But whichever you choose, again, we're just going to take that little forward fold. So find your sit bones, bring the head to rest down on the padding. So depending on your mobility and flexibility, you can adjust the padding as you need to, but do try and keep the padding. So you might be used to going into your regular forward fold and that might feel very comfortable, but what we're trying to do is bring yourself into that stretch, but keeping the heart a little more elevated. So although it's not the worst to come into your full forward fold as normal, just for now, just for this practice, come into this supported forward fold. Great, and take one more breath here. And then nice and slowly bringing yourself back up. Great. So we'll just move that padding. And we're going to come into a supported fish pose. So, using some blocks here, so either blocks, books, boxes, whatever you've got, you're going to pop a little pile of them towards the back of the mat. You're then going to take your bolster, or again, use cushions, whatever's best. You can have your blanket on top, you can create as much cushioning as you want to, but we're trying to create that slope. So sometimes sofa cushions can be quite useful. So if you've got the sort of sofa where the cushions come off, take the cushions off the sofa, create that little tower of blocks at the back, and then use a sofa cushion. That works a treat. And then you're going to shuffle yourself up so your sit bones are near to the base of that little slope that you've created, so that your lower back can snuggle into the bottom of it, and then leaning back, resting the head down. You can always roll a blanket up so that you've got a little bit extra lift for the head. Arms resting either down by the sides, or they can rest on the stomach if that's more comfortable. Or some people find popping the hands on blocks is more comfortable. So if you feel like you don't have too much of a bend in the back, then just make your slope a little less extreme, a little less high, and then you can use the blocks for your hands instead if you like. So sometimes that can feel nice, just to rest the hands onto the blocks so they're not reaching all the way down to the mat. And take your time, have a little wriggle. It might take a little while to find the best version of this pose for you, so it might take you a bit of maneuvering of padding, maneuvering of your body, so that you can really settle into this pose. So you should feel like the heart is lifting, the rib cage is lifting. Nice opening out through the chest. And letting the eyes gently close. Again, returning to the breath. Focusing in again onto that exhale. You can always return to the ratio practice. Breathing in for 4, out for 6, or whatever count works best for you. Or you can simply settle into the pose with that awareness on the exhale. Breathing through the nose. Letting the mind and body relax. So if you have time, I would recommend staying here for a little while, maybe doing a meditation, staying with the breathing, whatever's best. However, if that's all you have time for today, nice and slowly, bring the chin in towards the chest, draw yourself up towards sitting. Take a moment, find a bit of movement again in the body. Great. So I hope you enjoyed that practice. I'll do another little video with some other poses that are really good for high blood pressure. So keep an eye out for that. When it's out, I'll link it in the description or in the end screen as well. But for now, yeah, I hope you enjoyed it and hopefully see you here again soon. Om Shanti.